And we're live.
Welcome to LiveBrush. It's the brushiest brush in the world. Now in 3D.
Whoa, whoa, 3D. See, hold on, I'm doing the 3D thing where, like they used to do, where there's always
Uh,
something that points at the camera.
yeah.
Whoa, yeah, always.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
welcome back, man. Welcome back.
Welcome back, dude.
How you doing?
Dude, I'm well, man. Um, we are how about yourself?
I'm good. I'm here to draw and chat and have a good old time.
Okay.
How's the
All
chat
right.
going? Hey, everyone in
Well,
the chat. Nick, Alec, Anthony. I'm gonna screw this one up. Risuao. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Um, sorry I even
I'm
tried.
I'm I feel embarrassed
See, you
and
notice how Ray didn't try to pronounce that handle. He just left it to me.
right. You're the what there's always that host that does like reads the emails like on podcasts and stuff because they have the best like pronunciation.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I,
I
yeah,
shouldn't be.
yeah,
Don't make me that guy. I don't want to be that guy.
yeah. Too late. Too late. The people have decided. So dude, what are you working on here? I see a gray toned, there's a
Yeah, I'm
Rezuo. It's
Rezuo.
Rezuo. But
Rezuo. Thank you.
by the
Thank you.
way, oh, see, that was easy. I would have pronounced that no problem, but
Oh,
just
nice. Oh,
Tyler
you
had
would
to
have got
be
that. Yeah. Okay. I figured you'd have got it.
just saying.
Um. So, dude, I was thinking earlier because I was like, what am I gonna do for this episode? And one thing I do in my professional work is I often have to take like retro designs. Let's say it's for like D&D or something, or um, like almost like kind of silly like retro designs, maybe like from the 70s, and like update them
Mm-hmm.
and give them like a sort of like a modern aesthetic. Not too dissimilar to like what they've done in sort of like modern fantasy films, um, where they've kind of taken retro imagery that we've seen a lot and made them worthy of realistic filmmaking.
Right.
Anyways, I like to do that. I do it a lot for companies, and I there's this one character that I've always loved from a movie when I was a kid that I wanted to kind of do that with. Um, it's maybe there's probably gonna be people in the chat like, how dare you say he looks retro and silly? But there's this character from the movie Willow that in my child brain
Oh,
I
here we
I
go.
thought
All right.
looked like absolutely amazing, like the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And then I
Okay.
went back and watched Willow again, and I love Willow, but this character looks actually quite silly when you go back and look at him now. It's this bad guy character named General Kale, and he has this skull mask, and in my mind, it's like, as a kid, my brain, my kid brain, my kid memory, anyways. I remember this skull mask being like this hyper realistic, like gorilla skull, and
Yeah,
when you
I
watch the
remember that.
movie now, or even look up General Kale, he kind of has like a cartoon orc skull, maybe is the best way to
No,
put it.
really?
It's quite silly looking. Like, it's bad. It's not good. It looks
Dude, it's
fine
I thought it
with
was
it
the
with
most terrifying like thing ever.
right,
Let me see.
yeah.
Hold on. No, no.
With the right
Oh,
lighting,
Tyler.
it can look kind of cool. Um, but it ain't.
Oh
It ain't
no.
cool. It ain't it, right? It ain't it. And
Oh no, Tyler. Oh no, I'm looking at it now.
yeah, right, right. So I want to do that treatment that I usually do with, and I've kind of done this before. I did like a skull mask.
So talking about this?
Yes,
This is not it, right?
that's it. That's what it looked like. That's what it looked like. Um, Pretty bad, huh? Pretty bad.
Oh my.
So I
Well,
wanted.
now I'm bummed.
I want to update that. I'm going to give that a little bit of an update. And I think that's just what I'm going to work on here. Just do some doodly
Oh,
sketches
please,
and see what I
please
can come
do.
together with.
Okay, okay, right on. I am. What am I doing? I am in a new program. New program alert.
Oh boy, what are you in,
Um,
dude? What are you in?
that I am in a program called 3D Coat,
Oh, dude, you've been talking
and
about this.
yeah, and it's a just a 3D sculpting program that a bunch of artists that I follow use, and it is fantastic. And so I'm basically going to be messing around with it today and building a little island sort of structure here with a couple of buildings. I'm going to see if I can get some landscape kind of design thing in. It'll make more sense once I get it rolling. But yeah, I'm super excited about this. So, what you been up to, dude?
Oh man, I'm just kind of like swamped with paintings. But yeah, I mean, it's just staying busy, trying to get
Yeah,
them
man.
done, trying to fight all the deadlines, as Ian McCaig would say.
Sir Ian.
Sir
He hasn't been
Ian.
naughty yet, but we're just preparing.
We're just preparing. I think he's Canadian, right? So they give out knighthoods, right? Don't they? They're
Is he
Commonwealthers.
Canadian? I
Yeah,
thought he was Irish.
no, he's from Victoria. Um,
Oh, okay. Same thing. Yeah,
Vic-
yeah. Okay.
Victoria, same thing as Ireland. It's the same.
Same thing.
No
Same thing.
offense to the
Wait,
Irish out there. But
Tyler, you already offended them, so you know
yeah, yeah, no, I know.
we
Uh,
lost them a long time ago.
I have an Irish in my house, so got to deal with that every day.
And the stragglers have left.
Yeah, there's no one left. They're all gone.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is
By
gonna
the
take
way,
some
this is what I
doing.
love. Watch this. Look at this.
What?
Isn't that cool?
So you just like did some little doodles and then turned it into mountains, essentially.
Just stretched it out. Watch this. Let's see if this will. Look at that. And you could light it. You could just mess around and see what it looks like in
Is that
lighting.
like a basic global light that it has built in?
Yeah. So like you could rotate it, as needed, and just to see how the form is going. Like it's not the best of, but it's got a render engine. So it's like Nomad sculpt on steroids, basically.
Dude, that's awesome. I gotta look into this.
Um, shit. So what was I gonna? Oh yeah. So I'm getting ready to. I'm actually at the end of like my big projects and starting other ones.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
Uh,
you're almost you're almost there, right?
yeah, I'm done. For those of you who don't know, I am in. This is the start of my show season for my gallery work, and so I have a show opening up tomorrow um, in a gallery. It's a group show uh, that I'm in this really nice gallery called Momentum Gallery. It's the first time I'm showing with them. They are in Asheville, um, North Carolina, which is apparently a really nice area. And so I got three pieces there, but that's the ones I've been sharing on Instagram. And then come Saturday is the debut of my solo show. So I can finally show the pieces that I've been working an entire year on, uh,
Dude, that
which is kind of
rules.
crazy to think. Yeah, kind of crazy when you think about
Nah, I don't think it's
But and
crazy,
then
man. Sounds great.
yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's a lot of fun. So and then I'll be talking about more shows. I mean, I'm in a group show. And I have two holiday shows after that, and yeah, I'm really happy, really excited about this solo show opening. I think the work looks good. I'm really happy with the work, and just excited to not have to think about it. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
I think that makes sense. That's usually how I feel with just about any any big job I've been working on for like a really long time. It's like,
Yeah.
I just don't want to think about this anymore. It'd be great.
Yeah. Right. I'm just like, I'm good. I'm good. You know. But yeah, just happened to be doing some 3D. I had a idea for this little project I'm working on that you've been seeing. So this is like not ready yet to talk about it, but not that it's hush hush or anything like that. It's just more so I have to, when I show it, I want to have like a nice finished idea, set of ideas out for it, you know. Um, but yeah, man, I've been and getting the chance to learn 3D code is super cool.
Yeah, the stuff you've shown me, man, it sounds like it's super powerful program.
Yeah, it's very easy to, what's the word? It's very easy to sketch things in 3D with it. Um, it's not you don't really have to worry about topology at all in 3D code. It's just like you want to cut something and punch a hole in something, no problem. You want to clone something and push it over, no problem. You want to like you just build something off of something, stretch it, pull it, no problem. So it's really kind of like intuitive like that, which I like because it gives my it just gives my brain a chance to just like not worry about the technical aspects of 3D. That makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Because it could be so just, man, 3D could be just such a pain. Like when it's just technical stuff, when you're just trying to get a idea down and you have just to go through all of these things. I know I've complained about this in the past, so yeah. So
Yeah, dude.
I just
You're just complaining
I
all
like
day. Just complaining all the
yeah.
time. Here we go. Ray's complaining again. Here we
It's
go.
complaining. It's nothing, man. Just you need to just stop, dude.
Ray, you got a question though, man. You got a question in the chat.
I do. Oh, nice.
Yeah, from
Pull it up
Anthony.
here.
Oh yeah, you want to check it out? I was going to read it to you, but
Let me. Oh yeah, read it to me. Read it to me.
Is an opening call for artists at a gallery a good way to start building reputation?
Totally. That's usually a gallery's way of scouting out new artists, and that's how I got it. I got started showing. I did an open call. I responded to an open call in this place called Studio Gallery, which was in San Francisco, and it was it was just this really nice gallery in San Francisco, small, but showed a lot of local artists, which was awesome. And I decided to basically go to they had like a show on, it's like a food show, I think it was called. I don't know, I forgot what it was called. Geez, now I'm blanking. Delicious, that's what it was called. And it was so I did a piece for it, and then I remember, I know it was a holiday show. That's what it was, a mini show, and I did a piece for it, and it sold, and they asked me for another one, and that was it. So yeah, that type of stuff's always a good idea. The only thing I usually don't, just getting your stuff out there too, and just like making sure that you're constantly showing at like galleries like that, especially if they're really good galleries. That's super important. Hope that answered your question.
Do you have like a? I've got a question for it now. Do you have
Yeah.
like aside from that particular roadmap, do you have like galleries that you think people should shoot for, or at least just keep an eye on? as like potentially
Like,
good galleries to be in communication with and work with.
yeah. Well, I think that's the thing about galleries. They're almost like it all depends on what the type of work you do, and they could be pretty particular about about certain things. You know, they could just because they cater to so many different each unique set of collectors. So it's not a kind of an either or thing. But I will say this that galleries will always it's always good to take a look at galleries that your favorite artists are in and see what galleries that they show at. And because I think with that, you usually tend to find common ground with with artists like that. And so it tends to be will tend to run into a gallery that you that would show a work that you do, because there's tons of great galleries out there, but if they don't show the type of work that you do, then they're really not galleries that you should probably waste your time pursuing, because they don't sell to a collector that likes work like that.
Right. So it's like if you don't do Western art or whatever, you probably shouldn't try to approach Western art galleries or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, because they'll tell you, like, I mean, and I've had gallery owners tell me this all the time. Like, they have so many people. One of the biggest issues is that they'll have people that will just not that will send them work that they just can't sell. Like, this is not what the gallery is known for, and it's like not because it's a bad piece of work. It's just not what they sell.
Yeah.
And you as an artist have to be kind of aware of that, to make sure that that you're sending work to people that you are that will be most receptive to your work, and then also be just so that you're not wasting your time either, because you might have great work, but if the gallery doesn't really sell it, or they kind of sort of sell it but not really, then chances are you're not going to make much of a living doing being at that gallery,
Right.
or
Right.
success, I should say. Yeah, but open calls are good. Usually galleries will, when you get a gallery or you have a gallery interested in you, they'll invite you to like usually a group show, a holiday show. Um, and that's a good place for you it's just like a tryout to test, whether or not, you as an artist is going to work out for them. And also if them as a gallery is going to work out as well, because it's definitely it's a relationship. It's a business relationship. So you got to kind of test out things. And so that's the way I view my group shows as well, is ways of testing out, new galleries to see how they work, and whether or not I want to work with them in the future.
I guess that's something a lot of people maybe forget, is the aspect of, like, this is, of course, people want to celebrate the art, but galleries are a money making industry, and just like illustration, they often are going to be focusing on the financial side of things.
Mm-hmm. And I think as personally, I have to do that myself, right? Because I want to be able to afford to make more work, and I can't do that if I'm not selling work. And so I have to put myself in the best position possible to make that a reality for myself. So, and that's why you got to be. I'm very selective about my galleries, and I'm very conscious of where I show my work, and how can I better exhibit my work, and outside of the typical, all the standard, like just wanting to get better, period.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the thing with that stuff, right? It's like in illustration, where we had like what's the term? It's not, in like an illustration it's like you could have beautiful work, but if you're showing it to the wrong people,
Yeah, 100%.
and you're not gonna get anywhere. So you have to you have to target, just like you target clients, you have to target galleries.
Yeah, the targeting, man. I'm such a big fan of the targeting. That's 100% what you got to do.
Yeah. But it's cool. It's great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love it. I feel really fortunate that I'm able to work with so many great galleries too. I think that's huge for me. Um, galleries that I really respect, and just be in the company of such awesome artists too. Because you as an artist, we always want to get better, and yeah, it's great. But you also have to kind of think about your career just in general, right? Because so many people can, just simple business practices, just thinking about it as like a ways of, if you're trying to make a living with your artwork, which I am, and or you have to think about things that will help that.
Right.
You know, what the hell's going on with this? Sorry, I'm back in.
No, it's all right. I'm going to check the chat, see if there's some questions.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah. So Alec Hamilton's talking about, is there an expectation, or always an expectation, for an artist to attend an opening night for a gallery they're exhibiting at?
Oh,
Like he's thinking about
it,
galleries that are like all the way across country or in another
yeah,
country.
yeah. No, it's not an expectation. Usually, especially with group shows, with solo shows, I think it's a different thing because it's definitely uh, a commitment that a gallery makes to feature just one artist for an entire month. That's a huge risk, and it's a risk for you as an artist too because you have to generate enough work to fill an entire gallery, and so that means that the work that you're making, has to be just for that gallery. So you're also having, you're having to kind of sacrifice that as well and put all your eggs in one basket. So with those, I think it's usually expected that the artist would be there, and you'd want to be there for something like that. That being said, for group shows, they like it when artists are always, they always, I mean, I've never met a gallery that doesn't like it for sure, but there are many times I haven't gone to, my own, shows that I'm in, just because I can't make it, so as a matter of fact, I'm, finally planning on visiting one of the galleries that I show at, Principal Gallery, for the first time, in person.
Where are
I've
they?
worked with
Where are they located again?
Alexandria, Virginia. It's like around DC.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, so yeah, it's stuff like that where you're just like, that's super common, and a lot of them also have just galleries that are, excuse me, artists that are international as well, so they can't. Sometimes you just can't make the trip. So short answer, no. Don't worry about it, Alec.
Yeah, I mean, it's always great to meet people in person, but obviously if you can't do it financially or whatever, everyone's going to understand.
Right.
I mean, I've been up for awards that I couldn't go to the awards ceremony. So.
Yeah. Anthony asks, have you experienced or heard of a gallery paying for travel expenses on a solo show? No, I haven't. But all the solo shows I've had, for the most part, I had one in Denver, but that was during the pandemic, so it didn't really count. It was just all like, that's what the expense that you incur.
Well,
But that being said,
it's a
every gallery is
write-off.
different. It's a write-off for sure, yeah. But you know, every gallery is different too, right? It's like, you know, they're, I don't know. Yeah, every gallery is different, so it could be a different arrangement. Oops, what happened? 3D coat.
You crash it.
It better not crash. I didn't save.
Oh man, I forget. So like, they're gone. Man, okay. So this General Kale character. There's a shot earlier in the movie when he's like talking to the wizard Sorsha, Bab Morda,
Mhm.
Sorsha's mother, and he has like samurai adornment on the very top of his hat, and on the side of his helmet. Sorry, hat, not helmet, but helmet, not hat. But later in the movie, he doesn't have that adornment. I think I'm gonna add that back in. That's kind of cool.
Is there a reason why?
No, not that I know. I'm just looking at the pictures. There's like a moment early in the movie where he pulls his helmet off, and you see this like burly bearded man underneath.
That's hilarious.
But the adornment on this helmet is way different.
That is hilarious.
I mean, it's clearly like they were going like samurai. They wanted to do like a samurai helmet for him in this sort of medieval like period that they're representing.
Right.
But this is a tough one. This is a tough one to recreate. I'm struggling. Everyone gets to see me erase a million times. That's okay. That's okay. It's all part of the game.
No, it's just straight up embarrassing.
Now we're gonna actually go into liquefy here now.
What?
See if I crash this thing. Oh, you're not even gonna see it because it brings up a separate window. But you'll see the changes when I make it.
Dude, is it just me or Photoshop like goes through these phases where it's like almost unusable?
Yeah, I mean, I've had moments where I couldn't even use liquefy because it would crash.
It's probably like a fun thing to do is just grab, you know, shit on Photoshop, but it's just sometimes it's no bueno, you know?
Dude, I've had it. I mean, I've done like some big projects where I'm hearing an echo. Am I getting bleed through somewhere?
Oh,
But I've had big projects where the program's just crashed and I've lost hours of work.
really?
Yeah, I mean that's normal, like a Photoshop crash, normal. But it's always been around like some new fangled thing that they've added that it wasn't like ready yet, and I was like, I still got to keep working.
Oh my God. Dude, that'd be like, oh my God. As much as I love the program, Blender's like that too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it could be like,
it's open source.
yeah, we're not
too,
working
so-
today. Suck it. We're not working today. See ya. And you're just like, what? But this is amazing stuff. I feel like this is amazing.
We're allowed to
That we
complain.
could do
though.
this stuff.
We're allowed to complain.
Yeah, we're allowed to complain. Of course, especially, you know, it's our livelihood and these things cost money too.
Dude, that's the thing, right? Especially with the subscription-based stuff. I mean, obviously, I'm going to pay for Photoshop, but because it's well worth it. It's a great program in the end.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah,
man,
yeah.
when you're like, when you know you're paying months and months, and then the program's being all weird because you had to update or whatever, it's always bugs me.
Yeah, and that's the problem I have with like, man, whatever. I mean, it's only an issue with me when like they can add whatever they want. It's just an issue when you have to get work done, and that's all I use Photoshop to get work done. And when I can't, oh man, I just lose it.
Well, it's like your tool, right? And you're frustrated with your tool not working for you.
Right.
I mean, I guess it would be
It's like,
not that I'm going to compare myself to like construction worker, but I would assume that if your tool stops working, it's pretty annoying.
dude, you wouldn't be able to handle the chafing on your hands.
My
You don't like loud noises
delicate
anyway.
hands. Look at my little glove, my glove on my hand.
You don't like loud noises anyway.
Um, I did have speaking of that, I did have a glove for a while for carpal tunnel that I got from Mike Lem Darkin.
Oh, really? I know he dealt with it. I mean, I'm okay saying because he's made it public, but
Yeah, and it was good.
uh,
It was actually, it's like a really tight glove, so it kind of helps keep your carpal tunnel in check.
ligamentos like under not stretched out and stuff.
Well, yeah, like I mean, I'm no doctor, but you know, it's there's like a fascia band that goes across your carpal tunnel, which is like the base of your wrist. Fascia is
Mm-hmm.
sort of like a thin, tight tissue. It's kind of like wrapping a whole bunch of rubber bands around your wrist to keep all those tendons within the tunnel, which is sort of like a little tunnel of bone. It's the carpal tunnel. And if you wear that down, it starts to loosen, right? The tendons start to come out of there, and you get issues. So the glove is really good at keeping all that really tight for you.
Oh, nice, nice. That's awesome. I mean, take care of yourself, people. You got to be in this for the long haul, you know. Um, oh, Rizuo must have left. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us. And I just realized the teacher robot pencil uses it. Oh, nice. I think I've definitely heard of robot pencil.
Yeah. What's his name? Anthony.
My God, why am I blanking on this?
Totally blanking. Sorry, everyone. We can't remember everyone's names all at once.
Anthony Jones. Oh my
That's
God,
right.
why?
Anthony Jones. Yeah.
Dude, what is wrong with me?
Yeah, dude, I'm embarrassed. You usually know everyone's names that's ever existed.
I love Anthony. I love Anthony Jones's work. I look at it all the time. It's great. That's funny. Where the hell was I? 3D code. Okay. Oop. What were we talking about?
Dude, this is a tough one. I'm starting to realize why this mask looks the way it does.
You were doing nothing but just shitting on it.
Dude, this kind of process, this probably isn't great for our stream because this usually is like a week's worth of retooling. So I'm just gonna try to, like, I recently did it on a pretty high profile character, and god damn, it took me a couple weeks to figure it out.
I will say this, Tyler. It just goes to show people like how much time stuff like this takes. Right? I mean, it's
none of it's quick.
Not yeah, no. It's just how much iteration something goes through. And I think a lot about that. Especially nowadays, I'm just like looking at actual artists whose work I admire and stuff, and it's just like, whoa, okay, so that's where it started off. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, there's got to be a moment where it's not great. Well, you got to get through all of it.
Like this particular situation, I'm coming from the mind's eye of like, it already isn't great, so how do I edit the things out that aren't great and replace them? Like the samurai helmet thing is not great. It's bad. And so I'm trying, how do I get similar shaping And I don't know, how do I remove the things that I think are terrible, but replace them with similar shapes? The whole thing is like the way I've equated it before, is like it all comes back to the fact that like I have this particular memory of this character, General Kale. Like, how do I recreate that situation where I thought it looked cool in my memory, and when I saw it, it didn't look cool? But the like ideal scenario is you show them the thing that they thought they remembered, and they're like, yeah, I remember that. It looked exactly like that. It looked exactly cool like that. And then they look at the original and they're like, oh, never mind. It didn't look cool.
Right, right.
It's kind of like like, remember Masters of the Universe? How could we forget Masters of the Universe?
Okay, this is a great story because this, I always think about this. Go ahead, tell them how you ruined everything again for the both of us.
Hopefully we're talking about the same thing, because this particular situation is there's this fight in the end of Masters of the Universe between Dolph Lundgren and Skeletor, played by, I'm totally forgetting, but the amazing actor. And in my child memory, it was the coolest sword versus staff fight in the history of fights. The best.
Period.
Yeah,
it was up there with like the best that Lawrence, Olivier could like ask for, and like what's his face? Again, who am I? Oh my God, I'm like messing up the joke too. Who's the famous swashbuckler? Like, who's a famous dude?
Famous
the
like
sword
Errol
fighter,
Flynn? Like Errol Flynn?
Errol Flynn. Holy moly! Yeah.
We got there.
Right.
Yeah. And like, so I'm just like, oh man, remember this? I remember how good this was. And then I finally see it, and it's just like, this is post like me seeing in movies like The Matrix, So seeing Dolph Lundgren and this old man in like way too much makeup, just slowly like moving their stick and sword around that are clearly made out of like aluminum foil, and just an awful fight, a terrible trash fight that should never be, like the street fight in They Live between Roddy Piper and the dude who does Zvala's voice now. It's right on the tip of my tongue.
Who's Zvala?
Zvala from Destiny. Is
I never played Destiny.
Oh, dude. Oh,
I know.
This is a whole aside.
I know. So he played the
Lance,
main guy in Gargoyles, Spawn. He's the voice of Spawn, man.
Yeah, Keith David. Whew,
Keith David.
It's right on the tip of my tongue.
Who said that?
No, nobody. It just finally came back to me while I was trying to look up Destiny. But it was holy crap! I'm all over the place here.
Keith David, Destiny, The Voice, Masters of the Universe.
So, okay,
You're ruining everything.
Sorry, yeah. So Lance Reddick did Zvala's voice. Keith David took it over. But no, yeah. So Keith David's in They Live, and there's that street fight that's amazing. It's like 11-minute street fight. In that super low budget movie, that was better than the fight between Dolph Lundgren and Skeletor. But in my mind, it was amazing. And so this brings me back to this, like, how do we reproduce this trick of memory? I've had to do it a bunch of times.
You know what's funny is that when you had told me that it was awful, I did not. I refused to believe you and thought you were just being harsh. Like you just were in a bad mood and you just like, whatever, let's just shit on this thing. And like, he was like, Tyler's probably not even, secretly not even a Masters of the Universe fan.
Yeah, he doesn't even like Masters of the Universe.
And I remember you lent me the DVD and I watched it. And like and I remember next time we saw each other, you were like, you should watch it, dude. How good was it, huh? And I didn't speak anything of it after that because it was so bad.
Well, let's not forget. Let's not forget. Um, Masters of the Universe has one of the greatest movie posters of all time. So
Yeah.
our memories are sort of just like, oh, I just associate Masters of the Universe with a masterpiece. And it's probably one of the
Right.
shittiest movies that came out of the 80s. Probably one of the shittiest movies in the history.
Do you remember it? Did you see the making of with like they talk about that fight? How
No.
they like
Oh my
ran out of
God.
money. Oh my God, they ran out of money, Tyler,
Oh, the
and
story adds...
they shut production down on that final fight, and so they had to like fill like it must have been like a high school gym or something like that they were filming out of,
Really?
and they just
No
like
way.
did a bunch of black like just like so the director was like, we don't have any money, we don't have. How do we shoot this? Like, let's just get a bunch of smoke and black and just lights. Just give me like a couple of lights. And we'll just have them moving around, taking. Like, I'll just figure it out. And just that's how they did it.
And they had so much behind them. They had I mean the movie The Duelist had already been made, which has some of the greatest sword fighting scenes in the history of movie making. And that's what they did. They just couldn't get it together.
They weren't gonna. I mean, who do you? They ran out of money. They're not gonna hire the guy who choreographed
The Duelist, yeah.
the duelist. You know.
Okay, I got a question, Anthony. For me, when you submit traditional work to Wizards, how do you bring it in digitally? Camera or is it scanned? Oh, some artists scan. I use a camera. Um, so I know some artists that are a little more on the old school side that do like smaller work. You know, like they work in acrylic on like a set size board, like 11 by 17 or something like that. Um, and they have 11 by 17 scanners. So that's kind of, that technology has kind of like dictated their workflow. So they just work at that size and use the scanner that they bought years ago that is at that size, a large format scanner, which are still hard to get. I just photograph. I mean, with modern photography technology, you can get super high resolution photographs.
Yeah.
You just got to light it correctly. So I light
Yep.
my originals and shoot it just like Ray does. I think we have a very similar process.
We have the exact same process that we stole from Howard Lyon.
Yeah, thanks.
I mean,
Howard.
borrowed.
No, we can say what it is. We stole it.
We stole it. Howard. I'm not giving it back.
No. Heck no. Finders keepers.
There's keepers, Howard.
Take that. Don't even ask for it. Yeah, so photography. That's because I kind of paint a little bit bigger. Scanning's just not a thing. I do know some artists. I think it was Todd Lockwood who uses my local printer. Well, I actually got it from him in Seattle. They have a drum scanner. So he has sent them like flexible versions of his paintings, and they'll scan it on a drum scanner. That's a little wild to me. I would rather just photograph. It's so much easier to just photograph it. Plus scanners, especially if there's any sort of impasto. Like, I don't know if you remember this, Ray, from school when we would use a scanner. If you have any texture on it, the scanner just does some weird stuff to it. It like hits it from every
Dude,
angle.
it just like.
So you get
Oh my
like,
God! Yeah.
It's bizarre. I had this happen to me I did this hard case crime cover, and they insisted it be in oils. This was many years after I'd stopped doing illustration work in oils. And I had to go find somewhere. I lived in Olympia, Washington at the time. I had to go find some place, and I was like, I can't photograph this because I don't have the tech. Can you scan it? And they scanned it in pieces on a big scanner and then pieced it all back together to me and gave it to me. And it was like every single angle of the impasto was lit. So it was like you couldn't see anything. It was the worst scan I've ever received.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's not ulcer inducing at all.
I was freaking out. I'll tell you that. I was freaking out. But hey, you know what? What's illustration if you're not having a panic attack and becoming a person riddled with anxiety for the rest of your life? So
You want my job, kids?
become illustrators, kids.
Yeah.
No, that's a unique case. I mean, that's a unique case of me just having a. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's so many jobs. We've had so many jobs that have had nightmare scenarios, and that's just how it goes.
Oh, that's so funny. I mean, it's not funny that you suffer through mental anguish. Well, yeah, it is, but you know.
I've had many jobs that have turned into freak out scenarios.
Right?
Dude, I had this one. I got to tell this story because this was so long ago. You probably remember this. So, like, early on when I got out of school, I got a job with Penguin. I think it was Penguin.
Okay.
To illustrate this dude's a novella about like gorillas on some military compound.
Oh,
Do you remember this?
remember that.
Do you
That's
remember
yeah,
this?
because you were showing me how you were saying that's when you were messing around with SketchUp,
Yes. So I
and you
used
were like, dude, you should, yeah,
I found models for all the all like the military guns and helicopters and stuff. So I was able to just kind of roughly light it because the job kind of called for a very like high contrast, almost pen and ink style. So it actually, like, doing it that way turned out pretty cool. But the freak out for that job was like I had procrastinated the hell out of it. I'm very good at this, by the way, everybody. My entire career has been an exercise in procrastinating things to the very end, which is where the anxiety comes from. So don't procrastinate. Or do, if it's part of your process, do it. And so, like, they called me and were like, we need these pieces like in the next couple weeks. I hadn't started anything. Not even. So it was like an absolute panic attack process of of just trying to get all of those SketchUp things together so that I could maximize how much time I was going to spend on doing drawings and taking photographs of myself in like just the fakest military gear I could find so that I could just make it work, right? Just making it work.
yeah.
And I did, I don't know how many I did for this piece. I think I did like 20 illustrations for it.
Yeah, black and white ones, right?
Yeah,
Weren't
all
they
black and white. Yeah, so you can cheat a lot
Yeah.
when it's black and white. You can cheat like crazy. I admire artists that work only in black and white. You can cheat so much. I should just work in black and white so that I could do that. But yeah, so just not having any of it done and being like, here we go. I should have had it done.
It's amazing. Well, you know, you wouldn't have had the story, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I look back on it like I learned a lesson there. I never let projects go that long without actually working on them.
Oh my God, I did not know that. I remember you showing me after the fact, but that's funny. That is
Yeah.
funny.
And it was just also I had like an agent at that time, and there was a lot of like, oh, I got to do really cool stuff. Like, this is really important. This is like
Right.
super. It's big time agent. Like, this is super important to like look good in these scenarios. When in reality,
Or
it's
I
like
could play.
in reality, oh yeah, or I can play a video game. Um, but like the reality was like I didn't really care about the project. Here's another lesson, you know, as Ray was telling me before we even got online here. You know, so he was just told recently by someone we both know that they were like, you got to work on the things that you're excited about. That is 100% the case.
Yeah.
If you're not excited about
Yeah.
it, then you're not going to get good work out of it.
No. You are not. You are not. Um, yeah, it's such a small. It's a small thing. I mean, it's definitely a. Yeah, yeah. You're not. You're just gonna be miserable.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's about. I'm a firm believer in, and I've had these conversations with art directors that work at Wizards. You know, that they at least the ones I know who've worked there a long time, like their philosophy is you get better work if you're playing to an artist's strengths, and the strengths in their portfolio show in the work that they are excited about. You can tell right away, like, oh, that there's a lot of care in that piece because they actually like this kind of thing. And
Oh, interesting.
once you can target that, like that's the kind of work you give them. You don't give them stuff that they
Right.
clearly don't care about because then you're not going to get good work out of them.
Right. That's so true. It's so true. I mean, yeah. It's it, it's the same thing for like gallery painting too, especially gallery painting. It's like I know like people like I know a lot of artists that just wanted to get into a gallery, so they painted what they thought was going to sell, and they figured out how to do it well, and then they started to sell work, but it would never. They just got tired of it, and they didn't want to stop, and then they just got started to resent their own work,
Dude,
and it's
this
just like,
Bill told
yeah,
us this, didn't he? Like, don't paint like don't put puppies in your portfolio if you don't want to paint puppies or cows or whatever.
right,
Because
right,
if you do it well, that's what people are going to be asking you to do.
yeah, just don't and don't chase, yeah, just don't chase things like that. I think that's the yeah, especially in fine art, it's like you have to do so much work. So you're gonna be spending so much just in general, both both stuff. It's like you're gonna be spending a long time doing this stuff. So you better really just pick something you like doing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just look at like how many like it's that 10,000 hours thing, right? Like if you want to become a great gallery painter or whatever, you're putting in hours and hours and hours and hours of work. If it's on stuff you don't want
Right.
to work on, that's going to crush you. That is going to crush you into oblivion.
Yeah. And it's it's okay if you end up just not just always changing and liking different things at a certain point too. I mean, you're a human being, so you just have to be conscious of it.
Yeah, or yeah, being totally aware of it and finding avenues to roll with it. You know, if you're going to be working on whatever, if your interests change, how do you slowly shift the type of work that you do to the new your new interest?
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it makes total sense. And yeah, how to, and you have to be conscious of it first and know that there's a way, a way out, if that makes sense. Uh, you don't have to stick forever with something.
Yeah, yeah, try different
It's
stuff out.
not necessary. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Dude, this dude's helmet. Oh man, this is a tough one. It's it looks like bone, but then there's like areas of it that are metal, and it's hard to tell if it's like fake bone. Like I even have pictures of the original mask, and it's like they're just areas that are just metallic, and they're like on the highest points of the bone, and it's unclear as to like if they're meant to be like the bone has rubbed away to reveal a metal skeleton, like a Terminator,
Yeah.
or if it's been like placed on the outside. Oh my god,
Just for the sake
I
of,
want
yeah.
to find the costume designer and concept artists for this and find out what they were after. But it's cool. Like now I can kind of extrapolate what I want for it. But
Imagine it was just like, it's like, what do you want? What do you want, kid? You're like, who? Willow? What's a willow?
What's Willow? What do you want, George?
I designed what?
Well, I want him to have a. He's like Darth Vader, but it's a regular skull, not a space skull.
Well, we did Vader. It's
You
like,
know,
yeah, not
fancy
everyone's
Vader,
Ralph
though.
McQuarrie, right?
Dude, maybe that's it. I mean, Willow's a great movie. It's fantastic.
And Joe Johnson, of course.
Yeah, and Joe Johnston.
That's not- yeah.
And it's directed by a great director, Ron Howard, although he wasn't really. I think he'd done like Cocoon or something at that point. But it just it was missing that little extra layer of design work. But then again, it was coming out of the era of. It even has a bunch of it in it. The instead of chainmail, they have the knitted wool that's been spray painted silver. So you got to forgive some of it. Even Braveheart's got some of that knitted wool, the ultimate sin.
That's another thing. I remember you're like, dude, it's knitted wool. I'm like, no, it's not.
Dude, it is.
Yeah,
It's been used forever.
Knitted wool. There's no doubt about that. It is knitted wool, folks.
It's all throughout, like, I mean, in any medieval movie going back to forever. I mean, there was maybe one or two that chose not to do it. Like Excalibur, or there was that old jousting movie with what's his name? Ben-Hur dude. The Ben-Hur dude. What's his name? Anybody?
Charlton Heston?
Yeah, Charlton Heston. Where they didn't use knitted wool, but everyone else did, just because it was cheap. And this is one of my favorite little things, at least that I noticed, is remember the theatrical release of Justice League? Did you ever see
Yes. Yes, I did.
Remember the really horrible, just garbage version of Steppenwolf that appeared in that particular version because it was rushed and they had to do like super cheap special effects to achieve him?
Yes. Yes.
The pattern on his chainmail, that is basically like just the skin of his body, but it's supposed to be like chainmail, is knitted wool. It's not even, they didn't even use like an alpha that looked like good chainmail. It just looks like knitted wool. Yes. Definitely look it up. The crappy version of Steppenwolf. Not the really amazing one from the director's cut or whatever he called it. The Snyderverse edition or something.
Snyderverse, Snyder cut, yeah.
Which I will argue is one of the greatest creature designs in the history of creature design. I'm saying something big here.
Wow.
But it's phenomenal. And I'm happy to argue with anybody, or I'm happy to state my points as to why it is incredible. But it's super good.
Listen, I would call you a lunatic, but I've gone on record to say I really like Batman versus Superman. So
I like Batman vs Superman. Yeah, it's great.
I thought you were yelling at me for not, because I
was?
yeah, I thought so. No,
I think that one's actually pretty good. I think it got like I think it has one of the best Batmans, which is heresy, I'm sure, to the real Batman fans.
Dude, I'm loving it.
It's one of the best Batmans
I'm loving
ever
this.
done. Wait, what? My analysis?
No, I'm loving it. Yeah, this is great. I feel like I could just be myself now.
Dude,
I agree.
It's great. I I wish the Snyderverse would have happened, because I think it was when we finally got to see his actual vision. It was amazing. That like
Yeah.
Steppenwolf and Darkseid, the way they looked, the way they were acted, their voice work,
Yeah.
their design, their execution. Holy crap! It would have
I
been
didn't.
good. And
I
some idiots at
did
Warner
not.
Brothers did not help.
Well, I did not like Superman. That was the only like I really didn't like
Man of Steel.
the Man of Steel. But Batman vs Superman was it basically I was like I came out of Superman thinking if that actually happened, they'd be killing millions of people, and like he's just celebrated at the end. What are you, crazy?
Yeah.
And literally that's what Batman vs Superman was. It was just like Bruce Wayne happened to be there, and like
Yeah, they heard your point.
just seeing dude, they heard my point. I was
Well, it's
like,
almost-
yeah, like someone would have to like, yeah.
It's like Snyder had thought about it ahead of time or something. He
Shut
gets a
up,
bad
Tyler.
rap, but I think he was right. I think he had the right approach.
Is he he's working on something
Yeah,
Rebel Moon, right?
Rebel
His-
Moon. Yeah, his like
his
meant-
his Star Wars pitch, right? It was supposed
Yeah.
to be a Star Wars pitch.
yeah, meant to be Star Wars and got thrown out. So I bet it'll be cool. It'll probably be his like classic, this is a music video, not a movie, but that's okay. I like visual storytelling like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can appreciate that type of stuff. I just, yeah, oh man, it's just I love Kevin Costner's. Just one more thing about Superman. I love Kevin Costner's performance in that whole thing as like his dad, but how he died didn't make any sense at all. Because Superman's so fast, he would have been able to save him, and nobody would have known.
Dude, this is the problem with characters that and this
But
happens-
nerds like me.
No, not at all. I was going to say this is a problem with super characters like that whose powers break the plot, right? So you
Yeah.
have to like I think Professor Xavier. I was just talking with a friend JJ about this. Like Professor Xavier is a really good example of this. He's, they do things specifically in the 3 X-Men movies, the first 3, to keep him from doing anything because he's so powerful. I mean, like they kill him off in the 3rd movie, like right away, so that he can't break the plot. And Superman is, I think, the same way. He's inconsistent powers man, and the second his powers disrupt the plot, he either doesn't have them or he's not there, right? So,
Right.
like how my favorite sin for Superman is it was the one with Kevin Spacey in it.
Oh, with
The one that they tried to
My
make
God,
just
what's-
seem like a Superman 3 or something. Brian
yeah,
Singer's Superman.
yeah,
Where he for drama they have Kevin Spacey stab Superman with a kryptonite knife,
dude.
which would kill him. That would just kill Superman.
It would just kill him.
And he doesn't die. He lives, and then with a shard of kryptonite in his side, which would kill him,
Still in him. Still in him. Still in
basically lifts a planet into outer space.
Yep. Yep.
Oh man,
Yep.
unbelievable.
Spacey did an excellent, like Gene Hackman-esque, like Lex Luthor.
Oh, dude,
it's
I
just-
like that too. There's so much coolness
It was
going
great.
on in that.
It was great, and then they just like up and did that, and I was like, I was like, I could buy a lot of things, but man, that is not one of them. Like you just kind of broke me, guys.
You forgot to read about Superman's kryptonite, which is kryptonite.
Well, they establish it in the movie. I think that like even the smallest bit is like super potent against him. Like
Yeah.
Like-
That's ridiculous.
and he's got a freaking shard in his freaking back or in his side or something like that.
Yeah, it's
And
in
he's
his
like,
side.
Oh, I'm just gonna go.
And it's like sticking out.
Go-
He's like, oh, he has less powers because it's Dude, no, he's dead.
I don't know.
He's killed. You killed him.
Yeah, you killed him. Right. Congratulations, Lex Luthor wins. That's why I thought. I was like, oh my god, they're actually going to kill Superman. Are they doing? I thought at the time they were doing like the death and return of Superman.
Well, yeah, I mean, any
Type of
Superman fan, I think, would have assumed, like, kryptonite knife and Superman, he's dead. That's it. Game over.
He's
Superman.
dead. Yeah. Game over, Superman. See ya. But little did we know, it was just starting.
But that goes back just to the that's why I think the Superman movies, the Zack Snyder Superman movies, also are a bit flawed, because of Superman's just a bad character for television or for film, because he's so powerful. And the second he's too powerful for the plot and breaks the plot, you got to rewrite him, or you got to make sure he's not there, or you got to break canon or whatever. They do it all the time with like super powerful characters. You know,
Right.
like they did it in Endgame. But, you know, the Hulk would have broken the plot
Well,
in Endgame.
Right.
So they knock him out right away. In the same with Captain Marvel, she would have broken the plot, so she wasn't even there. They had her across the galaxy.
Yeah, like I'm gonna go check something out. See ya.
Yeah, because she could, you know, canonically, she could have flown in and punched Thanos' head right off, just killed him instantly.
Just caved his head right in. Boom. End of story. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get rid of those characters.
Would you guys ever? Alec wondered if would you guys ever draw comic characters on the stream? Have we drawn comic characters on the stream before?
I don't think we have. We should. That'd be fun. Like do Batmans and whatever. Do anything. I'd do that
for sure. I'm
up for some fan art. We've done some movie fan art. Might as well.
I mean, Dutch from is it Dutch from Predator?
Yeah, Dutch. But you
Could
know,
be a superhero.
I think he is. See the shit he did in that
Boom,
movie?
done.
He is a superhero. He is the Brute Squad.
Yeah, I don't mind. I'm a huge comic book fan, so
That'd be fun, man. We could do like just our own little fan versions of the characters. We'd have to, you know, obviously there's licensing, so we'd have to be their fan. These are fan productions.
yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, just same thing like we did with the movie stuff.
Yeah, they're just fan art.
This is fan art, whatever. They're one-offs, just for fun. Yeah, I'd be totally down for that. All right, let's figure out what I want to do here.
We'll have to hold a special event. I mean, we're probably, to be perfectly honest, we are probably maybe do one more episode this season, maybe two if we can squeeze it in. But maybe next season we'd make that a point to do.
I agree. Yeah, make it more of like a. I just kind of feel like I'm 100% with you on that stuff. You know, just kind of make it a point to maybe do stuff. I would also love to do just in, you know, environments of like just them in settings too, right? Like kind of like I don't know how to explain it.
I just got a text.
Like, you know what?
I got a text from someone that said, "Quit talking smack about Superman."
Dude, the Man of Steel?
Yeah, we'll never stop because Superman, I think, sucks. That's right. I said it. I think Superman.
Whoever
sucks.
whoever texted you, delete their phone number right now. This is not up for negotiation, you know?
Although I will say,
It's not a.
I like Christopher Reeve's Superman. I like Alex Ross's Superman. I'll say those are good. Those are good ones.
Yeah, and I think also it's like the whole point of it is like they're not they're very symbolic as characters. So they lean into the like the Christopher Reeve Superman is very tongue in cheek, keeps it light, so it balances it really nicely.
Yeah.
And Alex Ross's Superman is definitely someone who's more of a symbol. He plays that part as much as possible. So I never thought like, yeah, I don't know. Like I just don't think like it's like I just don't like when Superman does too much, you know. And I thought Henry Cavill did. I think in Batman versus Superman, I thought it was great because like, how do you? That's how they kept his powers in check, was by capturing Lois Lane, and like he's trying all that he can to like just not lose it. I don't know, I love the treatment of it. It's like, yeah, okay, so Superman would literally break the world in half
Easily.
and someone like Lex Luthor knows that.
He wouldn't struggle to stop an airplane from falling to the earth like he did in Bryan Singer's movie. Like, why was that a struggle? He's Superman. He'd have just grabbed that thing, and he would have probably killed everyone on board just from stopping it instantly.
Just from stopping it instantly, yes, yes. And he would, or he just would have crushed the fuselage, would have depressurized the cabin and killed everyone in it. But you know, whatever. That's why it's so hard to write for something like that. I think it's so hard to write for something like that. I mean, I really do.
Well, it's
not like
it's sort of like the comics don't have to worry about the third act. They can just go all day. You know, they can go page to page, do crazy stuff. You know, like this is just I'm saying stuff that my friend Jeremy said recently, but like Cyclops is the same, right? He's in a movie format. He breaks it. Like he can just kill everybody in sight. Just pull his glasses off, kill everybody.
Right.
But in the comics, it's like, well, yeah, he can do that every page, and it's fine because you lose sort of the context. Right. In a movie, there's like continuity, and it doesn't work. So you have to like do special things to make those characters work on screen, and you also have to figure out how to resolve them in a third act.
And also, it's a way of like you can, yeah. I mean, you could establish if you establish the rules pretty quickly, then I think you'll be fine. But which is why I think like X-Men, the first class or whatever, when they were a little bit younger, I think did a great job of doing that. But you have to be really. At least I feel like you got to be consistent with it,
or you
got to be
like,
straight up around it.
Well, I think, like you're saying with that consistency, it's sort of like you establish inconsistency, right? So Magneto is probably the most powerfully conceived, like the most powerful being you could conceive of, right? He controls magnetism. He controls time, essentially. So what you do is what they did anyways, that I think was right in the movies, is they just made him sort of inconsistent with when he wanted to use his power and when he didn't want to use his power.
Right. Yeah, because it's and how much like emotion drives that. I thought it was really good, like the way they did it, and yeah, no, yeah, it's a. You and I had a conversation a lot about this with also just like books and how people translate stuff into books, like in movies. Like it's where the opposite is the case, where it's like, well, actually it's the same thing, where it's like, yeah, that wouldn't work in a movie, like in a visual context. It might work in if you describe it, but like it would look like crap, or it would just be complete nonsense.
Dude, constantly running into that in illustration. Constantly.
Right. Like it doesn't make, like some of that stuff just doesn't make, it wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. And so I think that back and forth, like how do you how do you get the spirit of it? And like you were saying, cool is king, right? It's like, I think that's the thing to remember about that type of stuff. It's like the fact that like you have a character that's like, I'm reading a book, I'm listening to a book now. It's called The Way of Kings by Brian Sanderson. I think it's, you know that movie? I mean that book.
I haven't read any Sanderson stuff, but obviously he's hugely famous in the
Yeah,
fantasy.
yeah. And so there's I don't know if it's like that book, or there's a book where I'm bouncing between a couple of them, but there's one that I'm reading where like there's someone who has powers that are black, and it's black it's black,
Oh no!
but
Oh no!
you know what I'm saying?
Does it glow
That type of
black?
stuff. I think so.
This is like the thing we joke about on the Magic the Gathering side constantly. The idea of something glowing black.
It's something to that extent. Yeah, and like even like Dune has those issues too. I know I always talk a lot about it, but it's like it's sometimes it doesn't make any sense. Like why would you be like why would you wear a gray suit in the middle of a desert if you're trying to keep out of like, or gray and black suit in the middle of a desert when you're trying to
I always thought that about Dune.
stay hidden?
Yeah, like why would
Doesn't
you wear a black
make any
outfit?
sense. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And you know, people get around it by just wrapping people in white, but it doesn't.
Well,
And then like eventually like tanning it ever so slightly.
yeah, dusting it up or something.
Which is what you have to do with something like that. But I don't know, I'm just talking out of my ass now. But
no. This you bring up a super important point that comes up super often in the fantasy illustration stuff that I do, and it's things sound great on the page, but they don't always work visually. And this is just because like a lot of authors and writers aren't thinking visually. Some of them do, a lot of them don't. They're thinking more about prose. You know, and it sounds cool to say something glows black or whatever, but when you think about it for 2 seconds, you can't. Nothing can glow black. That doesn't make any sense. It's the same as like, it's the same as saying, oh, I lost it. Anyways, yeah, you have to remember like certain things don't work. You know, especially when it comes to art descriptions for illustrations. You know, if you're going to say something is glowing, well, that insists that the rest of the image has to be pretty dark, or at least on the dark side, so that the glowing item can stand out. And these things, like,
right.
most people do not think about this. They don't. They talk about, or they'll talk about, you know, my favorite sin in art description writing is the writer talking about something that you can't see. So they'll spend a paragraph talking about this amazing scar that this character has, and how they got it, and what it means about their life history, and then they'll say, and they keep it covered all the time by a crown. It's like, well, okay, we can't see it. Why did you spend any time telling me about it?
Right. Yeah. No, I could see that. I totally could see that. It's like it just makes sense like when you read it, but like, yeah, I mean, I think that the extra step in actually seeing it is just like completely opposite of like it actually actually hinders, or it sabotages or betrays the feeling that you would get from actually reading the book.
Right, and
Like
and
it's not
it's just
right.
a different medium, right? And that's fine.
Right.
Like, you can say those things, but when it comes to depicting them, you have to change it. It just has to be changed.
Yeah. I mean, so and some writers are a lot more visual than, you know, than others, and you know, and some of it, you know, definitely does work. I'm not saying it's all, but it's not it's definitely like it's definitely a different language, like you're saying, like just trying to figure that out. And I think it's fun. That's what makes stuff like this fun. And it's pretty cool to think about it as a as someone who's just like, okay, how would I visualize this? How would I get, like you were saying, how do I make someone feel like this is the way it always used to look, or this is
Hmm.
the way? Of course, that's like it's straight up from the book. Like you must have went through that with the Lord of the Rings too, where it's like when you were working on that stuff, the concepts for magic.
Oh
You're
yeah,
showing a bunch of that,
trust me.
just
And
like,
the things we changed, holy crap, did it piss people off? But sometimes you got to change things.
mhm,
It's like we were just talking about.
yeah,
Cool is king, and you change stuff. Who cares? It doesn't always have to look the same or to be canonically exact to what people's memories are.
right. And if you look at it's funny, like even like the Marvel universe now is so it's ironic that it's so the looks of the actors are now like considered canon.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is how they should look, and it's so hilarious because it's like they're changing the looks of characters all the time in the comics, like all the time,
Oh yeah,
from the source of material that they're referencing or trying to pay homage to. It's not as like rigid, um,
I know that. I mean,
which I think is
they changed the characters' names. I mean, they change who embodies the mantle of that character. Like Green Lantern's a great example. Nick Fury's a great example. Um,
yeah,
those characters change, and that's okay. Change is good.
that's okay, Bert. Yeah, uh, uh, yeah. It's. I think that's yeah. At least as artists, like we could tell stories like that and just do our own thing with it too, and you could think about you could take what's great about writing and instill it visually, you know, in the form of motifs, design motifs, so that it's not spelled out as if like you're reading it, but you still feel that notion. And that's the thing I love about, like, if you look at like even your concepts for Aragorn, like you could tell that he's a traveler. Like he's
Yeah,
not, cool is king, but also you're also about function and about the story and about how like the outfit itself tells the story of the character.
yeah. How do you build?
Um,
I'm always a proponent of like instead of using exposition to explain this character, you have them wear their history, right? So Aragorn's like a perfect example of that. But even like Obi-Wan Kenobi is a great example of that. Like you don't really know anything about him, but he's wearing his history. He's wearing a disguise in the desert to look like an old wizard, essentially, right? So that's a you can introduce a character immediately by having them wear their story.
yeah, I this is why I think like with this is one of the issues I have, and again, I will just go out and say one of my favorite movies in the last decade for sure, top 3 or 4. Dune, Denis Villeneuve's Dune,
Oh yeah,
absolutely love. But I will say that I think I don't like the way, and it's just a product of like I don't know. Uh, I just don't like the way they handle just costumes. Everyone was wearing black and gray, and it's like
dude.
complete opposite of what that world is.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. It was my. I love the movie. I love the mood. I love the shots. I loved the art direction. I love the design, but there were little aspects that I just didn't like.
But the cool thing is that you get to go. You could redesign it if you want to, And I like talking about that. Like this is like I'm and Tyler's seeing this, and I'm okay talking about this now. So, but I've been designing like just Caladan, like just what it would look like, and I like the idea of it being kind of an island um, city, like the main city, and everything kind of separated with islands because it's a boating culture, um, and they're also like very nature focused, nature forward, So everything should feel like it tries to work with the environment, not necessarily um, take any anything out of the environment to, and the idea of like growth versus destruction, like imposing will and letting the ocean kind of take, letting the will of nature do its own thing. Um, like you could mess around with a lot of those motifs, and they never. I mean, I know there's only so much time, but like, yeah, in the movie, but like there was like barely any water in Caladan, and it's like a water city.
Yeah, I
I don't know
think
if that makes like
they should have doubled down on that. I mean, I think they should have doubled down on that altogether. Like, they should have had like the ocean is colorful. You know,
right.
it's they should have had lots of color in their outfits, lots of lavish dyes.
Like why wasn't there green?
Yeah,
Do you
right,
know what I mean?
right.
Like there should just that simple thing. Like militaristically would make sense. Um, it would also make sense just like some sort of shades of green. Um,
And red,
their
like
their
the
ties to
symbols
nature
of
and
a
red.
robin, isn't it, or a sparrow or something?
It's a hawk. Yeah, it's
Hawk,
a red
right?
hawk. And like, what about? And there's all these like incredible red hawks that you could borrow. I think it was like an ornate hawk or something like that. I've been looking at photo reference for it, and it's almost like a crown. And just thinking about how that, and you see my other sketches for it that kind of integrate that in there, but just I don't know, like just having those things there so that when they hit Dune, it's a complete absence of that, right? And they're not at home anymore. They're in this place that wants to kill them and doesn't want to work with them.
Hmm.
It wants to make sure they fail. Like it's just it's a an area of like that imposes its will. It's like it's always been oppressive. And you can have like I envision like a rock face. I always have problems with like the stupid fortress in Dune. I know I talked about this before, but like it's just like a square, right? And like a mountainside
Yeah,
with just like, right? And so that's just almost like, okay, it's brutalist architecture. I get that, but like, you know, what if you really push the fact that the idea of like the whole like they blew up a mountain just to put in, the Harkonnens like owned that place forever, for a long time. But what if they just like they could care less about making something feel like it's a part of Dune, right? Who cares? Everyone's a slave and they're the masters of it. So you should almost like have buildings that feel out of place, almost like they're from different planets
yeah, like
that were like imposed there.
right, like they smashed their will over it. Yeah,
Right, right. And so like, why not have classing shapes or like just like a black. I always love the idea of like they're like black and gray, and that's cool, because everything's industrial. They're like the industrial planet, and like, man, Frank Herbert was all about like themes like that. Like, okay, like they believe like the industrial revolution always has to move forward, and like the people at the top is their goal is to always push more to grab. It's more of like a greedy mentality. Like it's all about them, and it's all about they're also like uh, gluttonous to the extent, and so they would have yeah. So like just having stuff like that in that theme, that would make so much sense to do something like that instead of just like, oh, how would they survive in the desert? Like they could care less about how to do that. It's science fiction, for goodness sake.
or and the
I don't know.
Harkonnens wouldn't care. I thought they got the Harkonnens
Yeah,
right visually, but I feel like the Atreides should have been a foil to that. Like the Atreides, I get what they were doing, right? They made the Atreides look like militaristic, like they were the good. They were in the favor of the Emperor, like they had a militaristic look to them, and the Harkonnens had this sort of like twisted bondagey like look. But I still think they should have also accented that with color. Like they should have had more reds. They should have had more beautiful colors. Because they leaned into it with the bullfighting thing. Like bullfighting is all about like super elaborate costuming. That should have been like
right.
a major. That should have been a major visual touchstone for Atreides.
Yeah, and
Dude,
it's
hold
a
up.
fishing culture too.
We don't have to do this a lot on the stream, but I will be right back. I'm going to duck out of the stream really quick.
Okay,
I'll be right back.
no problem. Yeah, so this is Tyler's gun. Oh, I just realized that people aren't seeing like my bad. My own image here. Let me see if I can just center that in there. So I'm just sketching, just seeing like what I can do on top of this this area here, and I'm gonna go back in and then just have a plan so I can go in and uh, add another layer on this, and then just keep building out my primitives, just to kind of experiment. The great thing about 3D code is that you could do that for sure, and it's super easy. I have the I'm gonna get the full version once I think in a week or two, but it has a great way of exporting also to Blender, which is really nice. But yeah, you see like all this type of stuff. Like this is not we're not sponsored. I wish we were. That'd be sweet. But like you could stuff like this, like you could just sort of like cut a hole if you wanted to in an area. I don't know why it's not working. Oh, I know why. Okay, so like if I just wanted to go like that, I could just cut a hole right there, and it's not even going to do anything, which is awesome. I don't know why I'm getting this like look here. Let's see why is that there? These like little dot patterns, whatever. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. But it usually doesn't. So yeah, I like this because it allows me to kind of think like this. And you could work, I mean, like I currently have, I'm working in, let's see, 23 million polygons, which would absolutely just destroy my computer if I were working in Blender, which is, I think one of the issues that I always run with Blender is just a poly count. Especially if you're trying to just try different ideas.
All right, I'm back. Sorry. What'd I miss?
Yeah, no worries. I just realized that my camera wasn't like, was off to the side, so it wasn't whatchamacallit. I wasn't actually showing my actual camera, so or what I was working. I was just working on this, like it was just sort of cropped off.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it happens.
I hadn't actually been looking up at the stream, so my bad.
No, it's not your fault.
I'll take full responsibility for it, though.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. What's up with that, dude? Come on.
So sorry I had to cut out. I drank too much water, man.
No worries.
Nature called.
No worries.
What were we complaining about? We were complaining about something, I'm sure.
Maybe just Dune. I was just telling people like, what I was doing with this whatchamacallit, like this with this sketch. I just did a little quick sketch, and then I decided, I'm going to go back in and just give myself an idea, like how to go about proceeding.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I could sketch on top of like a 3D model. You do this all the time, dude. I mean, Tyler's the one that kind of showed me like what he could do with stuff like that.
Yeah, I like to, for complicated shapes, I like to do something at least 3D to try and help me play with some light. But I'm not too great at it. You have like gone leaps and bounds into this stuff, and I'm like left in the dust.
Dude, I look at this and I'm like, I don't know. What am I doing with my time these days, right? Here we go.
Hey, man, we got to play with this stuff to get good at it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah,
Always be trying stuff.
Yeah, and you go down, there's a lot of, roads that don't work. But man, 3D code is lagging for some reason. It's usually not like this. I'll restart it.
Maybe you're taxing your machine with stream.
You can handle it. She can take it.
Yeah, man. It's got 3090 in it.
So one thing I was going to say was, oh yeah, way better. Oh yeah, way better. Oh yeah. Okay, good. Phew. That the cool thing about 3D code is like my trial ran out, but you could still use it after your trial runs out, which is cool.
What?
And that's what I've been doing. As long as
What's the point of a trial?
Well, you could say you can't export things,
Oh, okay.
and if you try and render, it will out of their renderer, it will, the render is okay. It's not bad, but it's not what's the term? It's not it will there'll be like a watermark on it.
I see.
Yeah, but I'll take it. But you got full access to everything else. But like the cool stuff, like shooting over to Blender and stuff, which is what I would have done. You can't do. But dude, check. I mean, like you could take like, let's just say you wanted. I'm gonna show you something really cool. What the? Oh, sorry. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I realized I was hitting spacebar instead of Alt. All right, so like there's this thing called the clone tool, and I'm just gonna cut let's cut this right here.
That's cool. Is it like
so now
Photoshop's clone tool?
Dude, yeah, you see it? So I just copied and pasted that part
Oh wow.
right into a mesh.
So you can do like quick, like chop up pieces, blow them up, like do really quick bashing.
Exactly. Yeah. And so like you could say, all right, I like that part, and let me just mess around with it a little bit more. So I could say like you could basically just copy and paste as much as you want in it, and mess around with like that one little part here. Let's see. No, I do not. Oh, what the hell did I just do?
Discovering new things
No.
every day.
Oh, I know what I did. Oh, okay, my bad. I'm an idiot. It's also got layers too, which is sweet. There we go.
That is like.
I
haven't figured out. Like ZBrush has layers, and I have not figured that out yet.
So this is like layers. Like there's two types of layers in this. This is like mesh layers, and then also there's layers. Like, so these are like subtools basically. So layers like subtools, but also layers like, okay, I'm gonna adjust this. Can I put a layer on there?
Mm-hmm.
And that's cool. I don't think Blender has that, which is frustrating, but it's free, so you get what you pay for.
It's probably a plugin for it.
There is. It doesn't work well, from what I've seen. It like it just breaks other things.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, it's really really crazy actually. All right, so this is one of my favorite things too. Is this pose tool.
Whoa.
Where you can get like just like crazy shapes going. So that's how I'm going to do this right here. Let's see if I can pull this off here. Clear this in, and then I'm going to tap this. So I had this idea of like these like these little crown things. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it off here. I got my reference here. Oh, okay. Yeah, you could see it. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Zoom in.
I like how this is coming out here.
I think it's looking great, dude.
Took a little bit of time to find it. Like, what do the other ones look like? Ooh, terrible. Not good. All right, we got there.
Center mass. Reset axis. Yeah, that's not bad.
There we go. Okay.
One more.
So this is kind of working. I'm getting somewhere that I think is interesting for this dude. At least.
See, that's who you're definitely. Oh yeah, for sure. Because you're definitely like that's. It looks like now you're doing a screen grab study from like how I remembered the film. That's where it's starting to come.
Yeah, this is the thing. This is the thing I'm always trying to replicate with these. Doing older characters that everyone has in their minds. I mean, that's the exercise, right? Whenever they do movies, you know, how do you make Captain America look like Captain America, but different, or Iron Man, or modern, or you know, I think they got the first taste of that with Tim Burton's Batman. You know, like you'd never seen a Batman like that, like completely black all the way. Like you'd never seen it.
No, not even the Dark Knight. Not even the Dark Knight had that, which is awesome.
Yeah, no, it's a cool way to do it.
What the hell is that thing? Oh, do I have symmetry on? I do. Oops. Whoops.
Always have symmetry on.
Not always. Not when you don't have symmetry on when you have the when you don't have symmetry set up properly on a thing that's asymmetrical and using a post brush.
This reminds me of I don't know if you probably don't mess with Daz very much, but they've added a new feature in Daz to make the faces asymmetrical, because human faces are not perfectly symmetrical. So you can like subtly make them asymmetrical. It's really cool.
Oh, that's freaking sweet.
It's just like a super subtle slider, and it's like you can barely see it, but it's just slightly asymmetrical.
Dude, that program, man, it's come ways.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing what people are doing with it now.
It'd be so bad,
right? It's like, wow. I'm always impressed by what people are doing with it and the type of results that they're getting. I mean, I've seen some of yours, and it's like, wow, that's Daz. That's crazy.
Yeah, the lighting rig in it is really nice, so I mainly mess around with that. Even if I have to like sculpt something somewhere else and bring it into there, and it's really clunky, it's sort of like global light that it has built in is really nice.
Right. Yeah, it's nice. You can get really nice. I mean, your renders are really nice, especially when you got good assets with it. You know, it's usually like, hell yeah.
It just gives me some light information, which that's all I really use. I don't use the hands because I don't think they're great. I don't use much of the lighting, the clothing. I don't use any of the clothing because the clothing's just terrible. Nice. I like where this landed. I don't know if maybe I'll do the whole thing, but kind of interpret his sword. He doesn't have a shield, but he should. I don't know why he didn't. Big dude like that on horseback, he'd have a shield.
Hell yeah, he would have a shield.
He's a giant knight. He would have a shield.
Yeah, he was terrifying to me.
Yeah, he was
I remember cool. It freaked me out. It freaked me out when I watched Willow.
It had
I
some
was
like
like, oh my
scary
god,
stuff in it, man. It had some really scary stuff.
yeah. They're all turning into pigs, and like
Yeah.
that scared the hell out of me. I
Bad
was like, I don't want to
Morta
watch
is
this anymore.
she is not nice. And
I got to rewatch it.
the trolls, the Hydra thing was just wonderful. And I think it has arguably my favorite hero, Mad Mardigan, Val Kilmer's character.
Val Kilmer's my favorite hero. Period.
Period. He is a hero.
Iceman was the real hero of Top Gun, in my opinion.
This is like kind of like a Cobra Kai situation. Like he was the real good guy.
Yeah, he was a real good guy the whole time. He got screwed.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. I have not watched Top Gun Maverick yet, by the way.
It's great. Dude's super good.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it, like the first 10 minutes of it, and it was hard for me to get through it because there's a lot of like, hey, remember this from the old movie? You know?
It was a Top Gun movie, but it's actually really good.
It's inevitable. It's inevitable. So I'm like, I didn't get into the meat of it.
It's got more of a goal than Top Gun had. Like there's like some footage and like a sequence near the end where it's sort of like I think they were fighting bad guys, but I'm not 100% sure.
It's supposed to be them playing volleyball.
The new one actually has like there's like a heist sort of situation.
A plot.
Yeah.
A plot. Dude, I'm gonna get in trouble again. I was like gonna do the whole Blade Runner thing. Like there are things that are let me tell you something. There are things that were just okay. Like people don't remember like how they were like if since they've seen them. Like you think Top Gun. Well, just like Top Gun, like the original, like did not. You're right. It didn't have a plot. It was just a lot of montages.
Especially the air flight stuff. It was just like they were just doing whatever they could with the footage the Navy had given them.
Right.
And like
right.
some of the
Which
stuff
I get,
choreographed.
Yeah.
But this was like Tom Cruise actually went out there and was like, "Hey, we're gonna do this stuff, and we're gonna put these pilots in these actors in these airplanes, and get their actual reactions to these maneuvers." And it was wild, man. It's good. They did a good job.
I mean,
for a Top Gun movie.
That's cool stuff, dude. I mean, I will watch it. I promise. Okay.
You don't have to.
It's not gonna be one of the.
But
okay,
I'll be disappointed if you don't. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I won't.
It's no Flyboys, I'll tell you that.
Oh Jesus! You know, I'm willing to forgive or forget. The Flyboys, unforgivable.
There is some really cringy stuff though, and like all the sort of like love interest in Maverick it's Jennifer Connelly, and she's always great and she's beautiful, blah 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 blah. But it's just sort of like this really forced thing with her and Tom Cruise, and it's just like, all right, guys, can we not? Can this just be a movie about flying airplanes?
Here we go again. I love when they're in the bar. That was the last time when I kind of turned it off because I got distracted with something else, and there was this like moment where Tom Cruise had the "here we go again" look.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just like,
I'm gonna have to show all these dudes. I did like the Skunkworks thing they did at the beginning though. Like they even had Skunkworks. Like that's a real thing.
Yeah.
That was cool.
It's that and I've heard nothing but really great things about like people talk about it all the time. So you know, I'm with you. I like really solid action movies. I'm a fan when it's well done.
Yeah,
so,
that's what it was.
And then that's what you told me. It was like a solid, action movie.
Yeah, so we're not talking about like it's not like Shawshank Redemption or something. It's just it's Top Gun.
Yeah, let's set our expectations, folks. Right?
I think that's the. It happened with Star Wars. You know, we all had this, I guess, view in our heads from our childhood that like this is something really highbrow and really serious and like really amazing movie making and cinema. But it's like it's Star Wars, dude. It's kind of silly. It's Flash Gordon. But when you're confronted with that, it's hard to like get past that concept, you know. Like, oh, it's Top
Right.
Gun, man. It's sacred. It's an amazing film. It's like, it's kind of a dumb movie that was
it's
just
never-
paid for
it-
by the Navy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I don't. There's certain movies that really weren't meant to. They were just kind of one-offs, and I think that's something I miss about. I think I was trying to say that last time we streamed. How you kind of just miss that about movies and just properties like in general, like video games, because it's just so expensive to make them, or like they're made so expensively. So like there's not enough room for movies that are just like okay, like that was okay, that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
They don't have that spirit like they did in the 80s of just like, yeah, we're just gonna make the movie. We're gonna make a crazy
Right.
movie.
and also the movie going public was a lot more different, obviously, and movies were like a big draw, but movies are still making a ton of money too. They're breaking records left and right. Um,
There's just so much more money goes into them production wise now.
right, right. So like you can't have that kind of one-off. Like, are they remaking Days of Thunder? I heard. Did somebody?
Oh man,
Did you tell me that?
I don't know if I told you that or I
Like
haven't
they're
heard
just
that.
they're just movies like that. Like okay, well it really wasn't like
Days
like
of
Top
Thunder
Gun.
was
Like it wasn't
better than Top Gun,
right.
I think.
And even that movie, I thought like, well, it had a plot, right?
Yeah, I think that's why it was better.
It's a redemption story and stuff, but it's like these were never meant to. These were never meant to be remade, you know.
Yeah. Well, and like today, today the Days of
Right.
Thunder movie, you know who that's being made for? I mean, come on.
Right. I just don't think like, or even like Total Recall,
Yeah, dude. Oh, terrible.
or I would even
Terrible.
argue like RoboCop. I'd even argue like RoboCop.
Here's the thing with RoboCop. I think we've talked about this. The remake, I didn't hate it. It just didn't have the same like comedy feel that RoboCop has. Like RoboCop is like
Right.
borderline dark comedy, and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
new one just didn't. Is missing that. That was the thing it was missing. It was like a little too serious, a little too social, like serious social commentary. Whereas like
Yeah.
the Paul Verhoeven one was just like, we're just making fun of everything here.
Right. I'm insane, you know. I think it's a love story. That sort of thing, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're at the
Oh man, we're at time.
the end. We're out of time. This is so let's just this is where I ended. I'll make this somewhat presentable
Yeah,
here.
get some good lighting on that thing, man. Come on.
Yeah, no.
Here, I'm gonna zoom
Let's
in on
dress
here
up.
so we can see where I
Trying
ended up
to-
with Kale.
Trying to dress up a turd here. Let's see.
Probably too close in. I like where you ended up, man. That looks good. Just like for like
Yeah.
messing around in a new program, it's amazing.
Yeah, trying to figure it out, but you know we'll get there. All right, dude. So, yeah, yours looks great, dude.
I didn't even
Absolutely
save it
great.
yet. Thank you, thanks, man. So yeah, I think we're gonna try and do at least another episode. It'd be cool if we could get to 10, you know, for this season.
Yeah, I would like that. I would like that very much. How far away are we?
This was episode 8, so we could do 2 more. I think that's
Oh,
the right math.
okay. Okay.
Think
Yeah,
we can
we'll
pull it
try,
off?
folks. We'll try. We'll try. You know, we'll do one more, and then we'll see if we could try to do the next one too. So, um, but yeah, man, it's been great. My name is, or I have been, Ray Bonilla. You can catch my work at raymondbonilla.com and on Instagram at Ray Bonilla Painter. Um, who have you been, sir?
I have been, and hopefully will continue to be, Tyler Jacobson. And you can catch me at Tyler Jacobson Art on Instagram. I think that's where I do most of my art posting these days. I'm trying to avoid all the other social medias. So yeah, and we will hopefully get a couple more episodes for you before we call it a year and a season, and then we'll go into season 5.
Yeah.
Where things are going to
Yeah.
change.
Oh yeah, you know it. It's we're going skydiving. No, so yeah, so if you are watching, thanks so much for everyone who was joining us live. Really appreciate the conversation in the chat. And if you're watching this on demand, thank you so much for doing that. I am just make sure that if you could just leave a like, and that'd be really helpful. And if you like what you see, consider subscribing. You could see all of our back episodes, previous episodes on YouTube. So feel free to check those out, and consider following us on Instagram at live.brush. And you'll see all of our announcements for the show, so you can keep up keep up to date as to when we go live. Other than that, we'll be posting a lot of stuff. I know I'll be posting a lot about my Tyler's been posting a lot about 3D his concept stuff for Lord of the Rings, which is amazing. And I'm going to be posting a ton of stuff about my solo show coming up. So
Heck yeah.
consider checking those things out too, dudes. And I think that's it. I think we wrapped everything up.
Yeah. I will. I'll be at PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia in a couple of weeks. So if anyone's around, come by and say hello. I'll be doing a panel
Sweet.
on Sunday, I believe.
On Willow?
No, that should be on Willow. I think I'm just going to draw kind of like this on the panel.
Oh, sweet, dude. Nice.
Should be fun.
Welcome to Discuss. Sweet.
Yeah. All right, dude.
man.
Well, we're signing off.
Yeah, take care, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Ray.
Thank you, Tyler.